Hey there, friends. Just wanted to go through the calculator stuff that we did today. If you watch the first calculator video, that goes over how to type equations in. So I'm not going to cover that here, but we have our equation that we looked at today, which is a logistic function. And we also have the constant 115. So I'm going to hover over 115, and I'm going to click enter, and that's going to unhighlight that graph so that when I go to graph, the 115 won't be there, just the logistic function will be there. So I'm going to set my window, and I'm going to go from 0 to 30, 0 to 30, and I think our max was about 230, so that looks all good. So I'm going to check out my graph. So there's the graph of my logistic function. If I want to take a look at a particular value, I can go to second table, and notice how my table here is set up. I had set it up to go by halves, but let's say I only want to see it going up by ones. So I can, up at the top here, there's some directions, and it says press plus for delta table. Delta means change, so I want to change the table. So I'm going to hit the plus graph, and instead of 0.5, I'm going to change it to 1 and hit enter. And there we go. So we know that at 0, my value is 4, and you can look at the table for all the other values that you might be interested in. But maybe you don't want to scroll through all the values to see what the value is for 23. So go back to the graph to take a look at it, and I don't see a counter over here. So what I can do is I can go to second calc, and if you're following, let me clear my screen here. I'm going to clear my history. You can follow the key history down here on the bottom. Let me make it a little bit smaller. So, okay, so I'm going to do second calc, and I want to calculate a value, and I want to calculate when x is, say, 5. So when x is 5, my y value is 23. So I'll have about 23 fruit flies on the 5th day there, or the 5th hour. I can't remember what the time was. Okay, so that's that. If you try to put in a value like 66, and I want to calculate it for 66. Now you can type in 66 into your function, but this says I have an error. And it said attempted to use a variable or function where it is not valid. The reason it's not valid is because my graph doesn't go out to x equals 66. So I can adjust that by changing my window to include 66. So I'll go up to x equals 70, and I'll hit enter, and then I'll go to second calculate again. I'll do that again, calculate the value when x is 66. And now, vada bing, I've got my value, which is 230, which is my cap capacity there. So I'm going to go back and change my window to 30. And notice when you do second calculate, there are other values you can calculate. You can calculate a 0, which is your x-intercepts. You can calculate a minimum or a maximum, and an intersection point as well. So that's the thing I'm interested in next, is that intersection point. So I'm going to go to my y equals, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to hit enter. So now I've darkened that 115, so that'll show up on my graph. So there you go. So I can hit my trace button, like I said in class, and use my arrow keys, my arrow keys to get close to that. And it looks like it's about at 10.9115, not exactly sure. But if I do second calc, and I calculate intersect, you can hit the first curve and see it gives you the directions. You are currently on the blue curve, so I can even, now I'm on the red curve. So I'm going to go down you're on the blue curve right now. So that's my first curve, and it doesn't matter which one's first. So I'm just going to hit enter there, and then it automatically hops to the second curve. You got to be careful if you have more than 2 curves, because then you got to make sure you've got the one that you want. So there's my second curve. I hit enter again, and if you wanted to guess, you can use your arrow keys to go a little closer, hit enter, and then there is your exact intersection point. All right, my friends, so 2 calculator videos. Practice a little bit on this, and you can practice with some other functions as well as if you'd like. All right, my friends, have a really great day. Talk to you soon.